Greetings, welcome, salam alaikum, tendam wari, what's going on? So I'm in an overcast Gambia this evening. I've been trying to get this video done, keeps going wrong, so let me just move quick and try and get this done before the phone dies again or whatever. Alright, so look, I saw in the comments from my last post about how important it is for a mass black exodus, and it's important not just for those of us who are over in the UK, but also those people who are here in the motherland. You see, there's some things going on here where I look at it and I'm like, I've seen this play before, and it concerns me. So I want to just go through those things, and there are going to be some sweeping statements, some mass generalizations, and I've asked for your apologies, but it's just to be able to make a point. Not necessarily I'm saying this is the truth in every single case, but with that being said, over here in Gambia, you have an abundance of beauty, you have an abundance of good weather, you have an abundance of opportunities, you have a lack of overt racism, a lack of systemic systems put in place to hold you down. There's a lack of that. So then there is basically a great opportunity here for you, if you are of African descent. Maybe what you've started to realize while you're living there in the UK or places like the UK, that if you're of African descent and you're not actually in Africa, then that place doesn't usually serve you too well. There are, you're working hard to prop up a system that has been designed for your demise, and so you're kind of like working towards your own self-destruction. And it could feel like no matter how hard you work, you still end up not moving anywhere, financially, or even like emotionally happy as well. Whereas here, there's a constant edification. I'm spitting at the camera, apologies. Constant edification for you as a person of African descent. When you're waking up in the morning and you're hearing the birds singing to wake you up, or in my case where I live, the monkeys howling to wake you up. That's annoying, but it's different. If you have the sun always there to make your skin glisten and keep you topped up with vitamin D, that's nice. And then you don't have the drama of someone on an ego trip trying to pull you down to make themselves feel better because somewhere they read that they're superior to you. That doesn't happen so much here. Now, just to give you a couple of ideas about what to face when you're coming over here. As far as say finances is concerned, you could rent a 3-bedroom apartment here for around about £2,000 for the year. This place where I'm at, I know that I think on the first floor, I believe there are a couple of apartments here, and this place is quite bougie. So this place would like set you back £5,000. But yeah, it's way cheaper than what you'd be paying if you was in the UK or anywhere in the USA. Right now, a litre of petrol would set you back about 60p per litre, which obviously is cheap because of this whole oil crash that the world markets are dealing with. So usually you're looking around about 90 pence per litre. So it's still very much cheaper than what you'd be paying. Fresh food is a lot cheaper than what you'd be paying in the UK as well. But if you're buying pre-packaged foods, like you're buying crackers, cornflakes, and those kind of things, you can expect to pay about 30% more than what you're paying back in England. So it's like there's peaks and troughs as far as money is concerned. And then when you're eating out here is almost as the same as being in England. It's slightly cheaper here. So you could for here you can have a sit-down meal for like say £7, and you could go to an Indian restaurant in London and pick that up for a tenner each. So it's kind of like a little bit cheaper for eating out. That being said, there are some things around about Gambia in particular. I've been to other places and I haven't noticed this everywhere I've been, but around Gambia in particular, there has been like a lack of investment in education. So for the vast majority, education hasn't been like at the forefront of things. So we've had people who've come to try and work for us, and it's become apparent that they can't write, or they stopped learning from the age of like say 8, so they still write like an 8-year-old. Or you'll find that there'll be a lack of understanding of things that people in the West would take for granted, telling the time, how to write the time down, simple things like that, which causes a whole raft of issues when you're trying to set up a business and trying to find local people to be able to run that business, or even just work in that business for you. You spend a lot of time churning over staff because of the fact that you're coming up against this lack of general education. Also, you find that there's problems around xenophobia isn't the correct word, but over here, a lot of people they deal with each other based on an understanding of which tribe you're from. What's your last name and what's your tribe? And when you come and you say your last name is Morris or Smith or Jackson, they're like, okay, I don't know about the tribe Jackson or Smith or Morris. And so, it's very easy that you can find yourself in situations where people around you are speaking in their own language and figuring out how they could band together against you, which happens. They kind of view us as a fountain of money, because for the most part, in comparison, we are. Here, a policeman, like a standard sort of Bobby on the beat kind of thing, a policeman would be earning around about £25-30 for the month. Same with a teacher. If you're a cleaner, you could be earning around about the same sort of price if you're working for someone like myself. But then if you was working for a local, then you'd be paid about half that. So there's an expectation that you'll get money from people from the diaspora, from European people. So you have to have your wits about you when you're doing business here. You have to be aware that people are looking for opportunities to be able to get one over on you. That being said, right now there is a whole raft of people who are coming over here and making coin. A lot of Chinese people, a lot of Lebanese people, a lot of people from like European people from Holland, from the UK, Finland, Sweden, are coming over here, opening up hotels, opening up guest houses, and so on and so forth, opening up building supply companies, and so on. So what I am seeing is the same sort of thing that you find in places like Jamaica or Barbados, where the locals are not welcome or even allowed in some cases to go to certain beaches, but then visitors are, which is unacceptable. And at the same time, it's kind of like, well, this is the price of allowing other people to come into your country and then dictate the rules. The larger companies here are not Gambian companies. If you're in the UK or in America or in Italy or anywhere, the larger companies that are in that country will be of that country's origin. Whereas here, that's flipped on its back. So the smaller companies, your mum and pop stores, they're Gambian, and then the larger companies, the suppliers, the importers, the restaurants, the hotels, they're not Gambian owned for the most part. There's a few, but for the most part, no. So we have an opportunity here. You have a choice. Either you can stay in a system that has proven itself to be a complete lie, whether they're talking about the education, they're there to educate your children to the best, and instead they're educating your child that you can be a boy or a girl, or a boy and a girl, or half a boy and two girls, whatever their new version of it is. They're teaching us that the police are there for our protection, and in actual fact the police are there to make sure that they get as much money and keep us in place for the state. We've been taught that the government is there for our best interests, and you find that the government is there for their own interests and the interests of banks and for the interests of big business. So there's all these things that are starting to come up. The health system, this COVID-19 has proven for a fact that the things that the people that we look to be able to look after us, they're not ready. So now the choice is, do we stay in that system where the more we work for it, the stronger that system gets, or do we step out and decide we're going to do something for ourselves? Our ancestors, whether you're whichever Caribbean island you're from, or whichever state in America you're from, there are people who pioneered their freedom, and it wouldn't have been pretty. So you would have been like growing up in a time where what would have been the norm, what would be normal, is that you could work 6 days a week from sunrise to sunset in a field. You're getting beaten, someone's getting raped, someone's getting lynched, someone's getting buck broken. So it's pretty horrific, but you just keep going to work because you've got to try and stay alive, right? And at the end of the day, you go back and you see your loved ones, you see some of your family at least, hopefully, and you get to praise white Jesus on Sunday. And that was the norm. And so you had to be pretty special to say, actually, no, I'm going to create an underground railroad and I'm going to go cross state lines and get out of here. Or if you're going to say, well, actually, no, you see those hills? Me, Nanny Maroon, and us lot, we're going up into the hills. That kind of mindset, that kind of pioneer spirit is within us. That's our pedigree. So we don't have to stay there in the UK, in the USA, or wherever we are, allowing the nonsense to continue at us, and sometimes in some cases by us. We don't need to do that anymore. We can actually come out here, come back to where we belong. We can help local people to be able to build up themselves. We can stop the influx of people from China and from Lebanon and from Israel and from other European countries coming here, taking the money and then sending it back to their country. For once, let's come together and create something together. It's possible, it's doable, and I think it's something we should really look at doing. One person doing it. Right. One person doing it isn't the business. There's some great people here, like Sister Shakina lives up that way, and then Brother Matthew lives down there, and then some others live over Yasser, and then some others live down that way as well. So it's kind of like there's people around. Yeah, there's a few of us around here, but we need more. We need more restaurant owners. We need more hoteliers. We need people who know the building trade. We need accountants. We need electricians. We need people who know how to, who know about care. We need people who know about, health. So, for example, nurses and doctors. There's not enough here. There's more Gambian doctors and nurses working in Europe than there are here. There's like a whole barrage of things that we need, and I hope that this video kind of gives you an idea of what it would take. Figure out your money. If you have to I don't know how you're going to do it, but just remember that the people who were those first pioneers who got themselves out of slavery, it wasn't pretty for them either. They had to find a way to make it work, and once they made it work, they were able to be they would be able to invite other people to come and join them. So now I've been here 4 years. Now it's your turn. This is Marley signing off.